Hello and welcome. Episode 4 of the TB3 podcast. My name is Will. Sitting next to me is Joel and Colby.
What's up?
What a week it was for the TB3 podcast. We went to some games, Joel.
I went to 3 games this week.
Me too.
I exasperated my wallet of its finances for the unlimited soda cups.
Yeah, I think I did the same thing. I got a souvenir cup on every game I went to.
Yeah.
$40 in the hole just on soda this week.
I feel like with the Rays you got to, man. There's no better deal in sports.
Well,
especially you can refill it on your own, too.
And if you don't need multiple beverages at a sporting event, you're not doing it right. Because then that means you're not yelling, you're not using your voice. You're not
going to the bathroom during the peak of the game.
Yeah, and if you are a Tampa Bay sports fan and you are not losing your voice at sporting events, you need to work on that because we need more of us in our Raymond James or our Tropicana Field or Amalie Arena. So
don't forget about Al Lang Stadium.
Yep, true. Yeah, we'll get a TB3 at the Rowdies
I would
game
love
one
to
time.
go to
Hey,
Rowdies
Rays,
game.
if you're listening, do another one of those double up packages where it's a Rays ticket and a Rowdies ticket on the same day. That was very fun. I haven't done that in forever.
So guys, you guys would know what was different about this week than any other TB3 podcast week?
What's that?
There was a live football game of one of our favorite teams going on this week, and we were there in the building.
Oh, yeah, we were there. The stadium was rocking. A lot of support. A lot of Bucs fans were there. I mean, the atmosphere was a regular season type atmosphere. I mean, people were getting rowdy, cheering.
The terrible towels.
Going like hated
crazy.
to see it.
There was a lot of Steelers fans, and they acted like they had just won the Super Bowl. But that's all right, man. That's football. We like excitement
that's
with football.
Life as a Steelers fan. It's okay.
Yeah, another day we'll
see them in the Super Bowl.
I saw it was
fan stuff.
63,000 on Friday. Out of
That's pretty
65.
good. Yeah, it was
that's
like
really
97%
yeah,
full.
That's great.
That's crazy.
Yeah. On another note, Steelers fans might be the worst. They might be top 5 worst fan bases. We could get to that on another
Yeah,
podcast.
they were a little annoying.
That would be a fun ranking.
That's in the dog days of the off season for stuff of worst fan bases ranking. That would be awesome. All right, we'll write that down.
Yeah, but hey, let's get into it. Toe hit leather, as the great Gene Deckerhoff would say on Friday night. Bucs Steelers in Raymond James Stadium. Not a great start for the Buccaneers on their first drive. They went 3 and out, 3 rushes. Baker Mayfield did get the start for those who did not watch. As far as the scoring goes, first quarter, Kenny Pickett, who is a Steelers starter, played. Most of the Steelers starters played, in fact. He throws a 33-yard pass to George Pickens. Breaks a couple tackles. He's in for the score. So after the first, Steelers up 7-0. Then we get to the second quarter. Baker Mayfield still in the game. Leads the Bucs down the field and throws a beautiful pass to Trey Palmer in the back of the end zone. The Bucs would tie the game 7-7. After that, it was mostly all Steelers. Anthony McFarland, running back for the Steelers, 14-yard rush for the touchdown to go up
really
14-7.
man.
Yeah, he looked pretty elusive out there. Then Steelers backup kicker, Potter. I don't even know, probably won't make the team. They already got Boswell, so they don't need a kicker. He extends the lead 17-7. We jump to the third quarter. Potter again with a 43-yard field goal and a huge pass from Mason Rudolph to Calvin Austin III for 67 yards. Steelers were up 27-7 out of nowhere. But the Bucs would fire back in the fourth quarter. Rodrigo Blankenship with a 35-yard field goal. And Payne Durham catches a 3-yard touchdown pass from third-stringer John Walford to end the scoring. Bucs lose this one 27-17. But we're going to dive into it. We're going to talk about some things we like, some things we didn't like. We can go through advanced stats here in a little bit. But let me just ask you guys what you thought about the game. We were there live. We saw it in person. So what do you guys think?
I loved that Trey Palmer catch. That was nice. Like, sure, whatever, it's preseason, who cares? But to be like under the pressure of like the beginning of the season like that and to catch that ball in that position, That was
His
good.
first touchdown catch as a
That was his
professional
first one?
football player. He's a rookie, man.
Oh, yeah, that was. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good too. Most rookie receivers struggle getting that second foot in bounds. He's able to get both, though. You love to see that
Yeah,
too.
he made an effort for it too.
Yeah,
That
he
was crazy with the whole college versus NFL rules
Yeah,
there.
I think if you didn't know the situation, didn't know what game it was, and you just watched the football game, you would know that this was preseason game one for especially the Bucs, even the Steelers too. But it was definitely there's a lot of sloppy things that went on during this game.
That touchdown was like pretty much the only highlight of the game. But it was good.
Yeah, it was a great touchdown. I mean, when I look at it, when I see stuff like 12 penalties for 127 yards for the Buccaneers, that's something that is definitely frustrating. Obviously, it's a preseason game, so it's not that big of a deal, but it's something that you look at and you're like, got to clean that up in the next preseason game or the one after that before we play some real football because can't be having that in games.
Yeah, in the NFL, the average penalties thrown for both teams total is 12, and the Bucs got 12 on their own. So, yeah, got to clean up. A lot on the offensive side of the ball, too. A lot of holds, a lot of illegal formations.
Like 3 of those things,
man.
man.
But it's a new offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
You'll work out those kinks throughout camp. But, yeah, it's frustrating to see come game time.
How did you guys like the play calling and the offensive scheme from Dave Canales? I know he probably didn't really show most of his stuff because it's preseason. You don't want to show all your tricks in the preseason. But how do you guys feel about him?
Yeah, I saw a lot of West Coast type offense, a lot of stuff we saw in Seattle. And I think for what we have as far as quarterbacks, either Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask, I think they'll fit them well throwing on the run. Running game, still.
It was rough.
Yeah, it was still rough, but that's not really the play caller's fault. That's the O-line, which we'll get into. But, yeah, from what I saw, I really liked the passing game a lot. I think that's going to –
It was quick, man.
Yeah,
it was
very quick.
And I think getting Baker out of the pocket, that's where he looked the best, was outside the pocket, getting him moving. That was the best throws and best look of him that we had. So even Kyle Trask had a couple nice out of the pocket plays. So that was good to see. I really liked how quick it was with Baker Mayfield. How he was getting the ball out quick. You know, he has a tendency to make some poor decisions like later on down on more long developing plays. But when you get the ball out quick, when he knows what read, when it's easy like that, he is he's a good quarterback, man. He gets the ball out quick and it's accurate. So I like that a lot.
Well, do we have his pass to try ratio?
He's 8 for 9.
8 for 9. That's
as far as the stats for the big quarterback battle that we've been talking about, Baker Mayfield, he went 8 for 9 with 63 yards and 1 touchdown. He had a QB rating of 132.9. Kyle Trask, 6 for 10, 99 yards, 1 interception, and a 53.7 QBR. So, yeah, like we talked about, it's just preseason, and some starters were different. There's some backups in with Trask, so there's no reason to jump to conclusions yet. Although I would say, yes, Baker Mayfield did look better. But it's still Trask's turn coming up this week. Like we talked about, he gets to start the second game. So we'll see how it goes. But, yeah, as of this week, Baker definitely outshined.
Just with my eyeballs alone, I can tell you Baker Mayfield threw a touchdown, Kyle Trask threw an interception.
That's true. I think a lot of people were very either high on Baker or low on Trask. Watching this game, my needle wasn't really moved very much. I think Baker definitely looked better. I think we all agree on that. But I also think we all thought Baker had the slight edge coming into the game, and I don't really think anything Baker did or Trask did really moved the needle for me on that. What about you guys?
Yeah, for me, when I look at it as from the perspective of Todd Bowles and the front office, some jobs are on the line, and you want a winning season. And I think, yeah, Baker definitely came in with the edge going into camp. But I think really what they wanted to see was, could he protect the football and could he move the offense down the field, which he did. He didn't turn the ball over. He made smart reads. He got out of there when he needed to. So I think he didn't necessarily just blow Trask out of the water as far as head-to-head, but I think he did enough to what the coaching staff was looking for in starting Baker Mayfield over Trask. That's where I see it.
Baker overall, I'd say he just got me like excited. Like seeing that touchdown pass, it was like the biggest moment of the game. Everyone's cheering, and it felt right. Like it was like Baker Mayfield, Bucs quarterback, touchdown pass to Trey Palmer.
Yeah, I think
Hashtag cool.
Hashtag fire the cannons. Yeah, I definitely think when you look at the drive that Baker had, the couple ones, they were very conservative. So I definitely, in this next game, like I know it's a West Coast offense. I know we're trying to get the ball out quick, but I definitely would like to see how Baker fares with some more aggressive play calls, with some harder throws, just to see. I think the biggest thing I think we all want to see for this quarterback battle is we want to just see both quarterbacks with the first team offense. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it's close enough where they've both earned that chance. So I think it's very likely we'll probably see this maybe in New York this week. But I think we all, for me to have a definitive answer, for me, obviously I'm not a coach, I would like to see both quarterbacks with the full first team offense and see how they fare and how they differ.
Yeah, my thing on that is I'm a little concerned as we're not going to see that, because I think if it's a lot closer than we think as far as a QB battle, you'd probably would have seen the full starters in week 1, and we didn't, and Baker got the start. So I would be surprised if they did start this week with Trask starting. I assume he'll get the same slew of guys that Baker got, which, again, that also leads me to believe that Baker does have the edge in camp.
Yeah, and those play calls also led us to believe that Baker had the edge. I think we were all sitting in the stadium, and after that drive, after there's the repetition of what we saw, we figured that was it looked more of like a tune-up for Baker Mayfield than a competition or a game that he was fighting for his job, as opposed to the play calls Trask got where he had to throw the ball down the field more. So yeah, I think a pretty safe bet would be to have Baker Mayfield as our Week 1 starter.
I don't think it comes as much of a surprise either. Like Baker is the established veteran. I think he's got like 60 games or something like that under his belt. It was a big number. I heard it the other day.
69.
69. So
nice.
That's a good number. So I mean, it makes sense. Like the idea of a quarterback battle is fun. Like as Bucs fans, I don't remember a time that I've ever really like seen a quarterback battle in my days. So to have one would have been fun, but it's. I mean, we all kind of know it's Baker's.
And hey, at the end of the day,
I am wearing a Gators shirt, so
yeah. At the end of the day,
cool
we're going to
Gator
support
shirt,
whoever the guy is out there. If it's Baker, if it's Kyle Trask, we're going to support him, and we want to see the Bucs win. Let's get into another thing.
There's no I in team.
There is no I in team. Another thing we should get into is the O-line. I was not very impressed with them. I know they were missing Tristan Wirfs at left tackle and their left guard, Filer. Is that how you say his name?
I think it's Feeler.
And, of course, Ryan Jensen, who has been struggling with injuries basically since last camp.
And it's not looking like he will be starting Week 1, unfortunately, for Bucs fans.
Yeah, this is the first time throughout all camp, as of today, Monday, August 14th, that he has missed 2 days in a row of camp. So that it's getting a little concerning because it seems like they just can't get him going. So if the season started tomorrow, it looked like you'd have Tristan Wirfs at left tackle, Feeler at left guard, Robert Hainsey at center, Cody Mauch at right guard, and then Luke Gedeke at right tackle.
And that last one is, I think, what a lot of us that last name concerns a lot of us as Bucs fans, Luke Gedeke. He did not look good on Friday night, unfortunately. We're all rooting for him. We all want him to improve, but the plays and the protection and the blocking was pretty much unacceptable, I'd say, and it's going to end up losing us games.
Yeah, that's the make or break point. If they can get to the quarterback and shake up this quarterback battle even more, that's not going to be good.
Yeah, and kind of one thing to touch on, like we were talking about, like it seemed like Kyle Trask didn't have the majority of the starters in for his drives, but the scary thing is he had them in for a while, and out of the 74 qualifying quarterbacks for preseason week 1, he was 28 Kyle Trask was 28 for the most times being under pressure. 40% of his snaps he was under pressure. So that's a pretty big number, and he's pretty close to the top. So, again, it is concerning. Want to keep the quarterbacks healthy. And, again, if you can't stop the pass, you definitely can't get a good run game. So that's an issue of concern that I think we've known for a while, but it wasn't very promising to see how they performed Friday night.
Yeah, there was not along with the Kyle Trask got sacked 3 times, John Wolford got sacked once. There were 6 quarterback hits, and along with those, there was also numerous tackles for loss and no gainers on the run game. I'm looking at Keyshawn Vaughn's stats, he had a very disappointing night. Even though the O-line didn't help him out, but he wasn't running very well. He had 7 carries for 4 yards.
I think part of this too is the Bucs are aware that their O-line is not the best, and I think that's why you will see Baker get more of the playing time is because he's that mobile quarterback. From what I understand, I think Trask is more of that pocket guy who just kind of steps back and leans into the throw, and that's the quarterback that's going to get taken down more often than not. So Baker being able to escape will be part of the reason why this team may have some success on the offensive side.
To bring our 2 points together, there was a lot of penalties on the offensive line too. I know Cody Mouch, first game, he had a pretty unfortunate false start and a short yardage play, excuse me. And then there was numerous holdings. I don't have the exact number, but it was, I think, at least 3 or 4. And there was a couple that took away, big gainers. So
yeah, it seemed like every big rushing play the Bucs had, it was negated by a holding call on the O-line. Aaron Stinney bothered me a lot too because it seemed like coming out of camp that him and Hainsey were going back and forth, kind of who's going to be the 6th man of the O-line. And so if those two are battling, it concerns me because if anybody goes down, it seems like we're truly going to be in a bad position on the O-line.
Yeah.
So and the opposing teams, they know your holes, so they're gonna start aiming for those weak sides, and it'll show mid-season. Whenever it shows, it'll show.
Yeah, a lot of the people playing on Friday night, those are going to be your depth pieces. They're going to be your 3rd cornerback, which we're going to get to. They're going to be your 6th offensive lineman, 7th offensive lineman, your backup quarterback even, your 4th receiver, that type of thing. So these people, if you see playmakers out there, like we saw on the defensive line, I'd say, linebacker a little bit, you see stuff like that, you feel good about the depth. You feel good that if someone has to miss a couple weeks or, heaven forbid, someone has a season-ending injury, you feel good that one of these players are able to step up and keep the same level of play. So that's what we were looking forward to. And the weak points that we saw, like offensive line and corner, I'd say, to a degree, those are your positions that are going to be not have much depth, as opposed to places like receiver and defensive line and linebacker, which do seem to have really good depth this year, which is good.
Yeah, you bring up a good point because a lot of people go like, oh, I don't care about preseason, it's boring, but it's that's some of the biggest games of the year because you're definitely going to care if one of your star players goes down, and don't you want to see what depth you have at these positions? So yeah, it's super important as far as depth. You bring up the cornerback too, and we're mentioning Zion McCollum. Had a so-so start, I'd say. One of the big things was he did have an interception off of Mitch Trubisky, the Nickelodeon Most Valuable Player.
Yes, sir.
But he did get burned a couple times too.
Mm-hmm. George Pickens made him look silly, man.
Yeah,
a couple times.
And that's somebody who we need to step up. We really need that strong 3rd corner. We got 2 solid corners right now, but we need somebody to step up. And so you can say first preseason game, a lot of jitters. He's only a 2nd-year player. And it was great to see him get a pick, but on the opposite side of that, he did get burned a lot in coverage. Gave up a lot of passes. I don't have the exact stats, but a lot of the big plays were on his watch. So.
Yeah, and then the person competing with him, Josh Hayes, also, he was the corner who got burnt for the 60-yard touchdown in the 2nd quarter, I want to say that was, or the 3rd quarter. So it's not like you could say he's coming for a spot. I think McCollum played better than Josh Hayes. But I was thinking about McCollum a lot today. And obviously, those ups and downs, you don't want to have it. But like we said, the Steelers had a lot of their first stringers. They had Pickens playing. They had Deontay Johnson. And he's not going to be on those guys when it comes to the real season. So I can take solace in the fact that he'll be covering their third best receiver, or he'll be covering a running back or a tight end or something like that, instead of him having to guard their one or their two, because Deontay Johnson had a pretty good start to the game too. So that is a way to spin it. I know. So you said he's getting benched this upcoming, or you're saying you said off the bench?
I say he's your backup. Behind,
Okay. I thought he said he's getting benched. I hadn't
No.
No. Okay. Yeah. I got you. No. Yeah. So hopefully I think if he can make plays like he did on the interception as a third corner, that could be very valuable to us. But a little bit of discipline will do our secondary a lot of good, I'd say.
That specific interception was a highlight for me because so many times with the Bucs defense, you'll see him like break up a pass or get in the way of a pass, and they don't like follow through with the interception. And to see it was like, wait, did he actually caught that ball? Like he didn't just knock it down? Like that ball's in his hands? Like I was blown away by that. So if he has the hands to catch some interceptions this season, that would be such a welcomed player to this defense and a welcomed addition as far as skill sets go, because it seems that we always have the type of guys that just, get in the way, do 2/3 of the interception, but then they're like, I don't know how to catch the ball. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
So if this guy can keep up with that, like if we see a few more interceptions in this season, I would be ecstatic.
Yeah, and you see when corners are in such tight coverage like that, it's great to see them make a play on the ball as opposed to grabbing the receiver or having a silly pass interference.
That's a good point.
So yeah, that was great to see. That was a great play. I think that was probably the play of the game. I would say.
Mm-hmm.
You guys want to talk about some good?
Yeah, let's talk about some good. Again, like we talked about earlier, Trey Palmer, man. I know that touchdown was kind of huge, but I'd say a big thing to note is his return game. It's been a battle between him and Devin Tompkins, who's going to be our kick and punt returner. And I honestly think Trey Palmer stole the show. Mm-hmm. He had 2 kick returns for 54 yards, average of 27. I don't think he got to return a punt, but Devin Tompkins, on the other hand,
he almost muffed one.
Yeah, almost muffed one. His 1 kick return, he got 19 yards, and then didn't get a punt return either, and kind of looked lost out there. I want to say there was one should have fair caught it, but he let it bounce, and it was a good Steelers bounce. So
yeah,
I'd say out of that, Trey Palmer might win that job. I mean, he looked phenomenal out there. I'd say Kalen Geiger, another receiver. He had a great day, 4 receptions, 50 yards, longest of 23. I like seeing him out there. I feel like a lot of receivers played well, so that's good to see because, again, there's going to be a big battle for that third, or I guess more 4th, 5th, 6th guy. So we already got Evans, Chris Godwin, and Russell Gage is probably going to be your third. So, yeah, it's going to be a huge battle for the rest of camp to see who's going to get that 4th, 5th, and 6th spot. But that's
and the wide receiver spot's like it can be a easily injured position, so it's good to get some of these real depth guys because you don't always know what you're going to get out of a guy like Godwin and stuff like that.
And I think when you hear about Trey Palmer, you always hear about his speed and his return game and stuff like that. He is a big dude. Like I really hadn't seen him that much, honestly, and he is a big dude. He's a bigger dude than you think he is. I think he's probably like 6'1", 6'2". I don't know. Like I thought he was going to be one of these short, stocky receivers, like off the edge, kind of like Tompkins is. But he can like we saw in the touchdown.
There,
he's he can go up and get a jump ball, which is great to see. Like have someone be a returner and a jump ball threat. That's amazing. I mean, I think he could maybe get the third receiver spot, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Another thing to know about Trey Palmer, I wanted to bring this up last week, but Randy Moss was asked about him, and he said he's the best young receiver to enter the NFL in the past 15 years. He also said that every NFL owner should be pissed that they passed on him. So he's getting praise already from some of the greats, and to see him perform well, it's really refreshing to see because we know too that Mike Evans does not have a lot of time left. He's getting up there. Some injuries have slowed him down a little bit, and we don't know the future as far as Chris Godwin. I don't know how many years we have him locked up for, but you never know.
Two or three
yeah,
more.
so-
Yeah, I think he signed a 4-year one. It's great. That's amazing praise from Randy Moss, who is one of the best receivers
I didn't
ever.
realize he was the one who said that. That's cool that
Yeah.
came from him.
I think another person that stuck out to me is Cam Gill. He had a sack and a half on the day. He was kind of all over the place, and it's just good to see someone who could be another defensive line depth option, especially with I think he was outside, but with Cansey, we're hoping he comes back week 1. But to have all the depth we could possibly have is it's a good sign, So I like to see a sack and a half. That's a great day at the office, man.
I just want to bring so much praise to the kicking game. I asked for some good kicking game, and I got it. And I'm so pleased, so thankful. We got Bucks bounces left and right, some good field goals. We're in good hands this year.
Jake Camarda. I always mess up his name. Jake Camarda might be the best pound-for-pound player on the Bucks, and that's not even a shot at the Bucks. He might be the best punter in the NFL. He's really good, and he was locked in on Friday.
Yeah.
I love you, Jake.
It's kind of funny because, you hate when your team goes 3-and-out, but I can't even lie to you. I get excited when he gets on the field.
Those are
man.
really
He
good punts.
puts on a show, dog. Like that game against Carolina where he lost the ball and he went up the sideline, and that saved the division for us, man.
It really did. Yeah, that was a huge
crazy
play in
moment.
that game. Yeah, I'd say kicking too. No Buccaneers kicker missed the field goal or extra point, so that's pretty big. I mean, they're battling Chase McLaughlin or Rodrigo Blankenship. Yeah,
Hot Rod.
both made their field goals and extra points. So yeah, that's another battle I want to see because it looks like they're going stride for stride. Might be a tough cut to make for
I'm
whoever
team
doesn't make
Chase.
the team.
I don't care, but
I think so too. I think I'm Team Chase too.
there's something about Chase. I'm like, I like you, Chase.
And I think we were all pretty pleasantly surprised with the rookies Yahya Diaby and Sriracha Dennis. I don't think their stats weren't amazing, but they really were flying around the ball, especially Dennis and Yahya Diaby. He got to the quarterback a couple times. He strung out a couple runs that helped his linebackers get there. So they were all over the ball. They were kind of flying around. So both those rookies look really good, and it looks like it's going to be another really great Jason Light class, I think, is a safe bet.
Yeah, I was really high on this draft class early, and again, like you said, Yahya Diaby, that dude's a monster too. Seeing him in person, I mean, that's a big guy. And yeah, at the end of the day, with defensive line players, you might not fill the stat sheet, but he definitely made an impact. You could see it on the runs. He was driving the lineman back, letting the linebacker get a free gap in there to make the tackle, and then on pass rush, forcing Trubisky, picking a couple times to move out of the pocket and make some bad throws. So yeah, he was all over the place, and I love to see it. And yeah, I really think this is going to be one of the best Bucs draft classes we will ever see. That's my opinion.
So I think as we wrap up this game, I'm going to pose a question. Oh, Joel has one thing.
So off the field, I'll just make a note. First time in the stadium this year, we got rid of the crow's nest. The crow's nest was an
Big
area.
topic amongst us at the
Crow's
game.
nest.
The crow's nest was an area that they set up in the south end zone. It was a seat addition. It added thousands of seats, so they took that down this season, and it's a sad reminder that less eyeballs are on the team. But ultimately, it's a nice transition. Like, we're no longer the Tom Brady-led team. We are our own team, and we're out here to make a new name for ourselves.
We're some scrappy
And if that
misfits.
means that there's 6,000 less seats in our stadium, then that's okay.
That's a crazy amount of seats.
It was a few thousand.
I was still impressed, though, for the number that turned out.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
There's a lot of Steelers fans, but there was still a bunch of Bucs fans. For a preseason game, might be some Brady fatigue. There was sure a lot of Bucs fans out there, and it was packed. So you love to see that.
You guys rock, Bucs fans.
And Raymond James was as beautiful as ever. I mean, we got a little sunset action going in and off the top of the stadium. Oh, it was gorgeous.
Might have been a mistake on where I picked the tickets, but it was still beautiful.
Oh
to
yeah,
see.
we got some sun too, but that's all right. If you're not high at a football game, you're not having a good time. So what I was going to get at is going into week 2, preseason game 2 against the New York Jets in New York. What is one thing you guys want to see in this next game?
I think definitely O-line play. You look at the opponent they have this week. They got the New York Jets. So if you watch the show Hard Knocks, you will get to see some Bucks action on there, which is going to be cool. That'll be next Tuesday. But yeah, the O-line, they need to step it up. The Steelers aren't notorious for having a great defensive line, especially, well, they got TJ Watt, but he didn't play, of course. So they didn't play a great backup Steelers defensive line. But this week the Jets are coming hot, led by Jermaine Johnson and Bryce Huff. Those guys were all over rookie Bryce Young for the Panthers last week. They had 5 total sacks. So yeah, this is a big prove-it game for the Bucs O-line. They got to protect Trask, who's going to get the start, and they got to protect Mayfield into the second half. So that's a big thing for me. O-line, you need to step it up.
To add on to that, for the O-line's protection, that we could put some drives together, and it's not just 3 and outs and short plays, short drives like that. Like, to get some points on the board this week would be nice to see. Like, it'll be hard, but it'll be a good test. So if we can do it, that will be something to be pleased with.
I think I'm going to go with secondary play, actually. We talked a lot about Zion McCollum and Josh Hayes. I'm hoping to see at least a little bit of Carlton Davis and Jamel Dean, maybe at least like a drive or two. And I just want to see how the secondary is different with those guys, like how Zion McCollum fits into that third spot and how the coverage and the tackling, because tackling in the secondary was another issue of this game. Mm-hmm. There was a bunch of missed tackles, bad angles, stuff like that. So I just want to see how the secondary kind of comes together, at least for a drive or two, especially against a good quarterback and good receivers that the Jets have. So, yeah, secondary play, Davis, Dean, McCollum, Ryan Neal, hopefully will play, which he was a great add on the offseason. So I'm excited to see him play too. So secondary, man, that's what I want to see.
Something to add on to mine, I hope that we score enough to where the game is close enough to where the head coach can make some good coaching decisions as far as when to do timeouts and stuff. There was a couple moments at the end of the game this week where it's like, where's the timeout, man? Call that timeout. You can't go home with them. So I'm hoping that the game is close enough to where we can see him have a reason, I guess, to make some coaching decisions at the end.
It sounds silly, but there was multiple games where clock management was an issue. Cleveland. I think there was 1 or 2 others, like at least at halftime, that was just very questionable. So to see how timeouts are used and how drives are managed in positions like that, because even this game, we had a 2-minute drive opportunity, and we ended up going 3 and out and letting the Steelers, come back and kick a field goal before halftime. So, even that test, we failed on that this week. So, yeah, hopefully the management is better.
Clock management would be nice to see improvement on this season.
Yeah, I still got to get used to the new preseason schedule as far as knowing, like, who's playing, because, like, in years past, it's always been 4. So, like, the first 2 games, you have some starters play, maybe a couple series. Your third preseason game was always, that's where, like, the starters play almost the entire game. And then the 4th game was just, anybody who's not making the team getting a chance to showcase why another team should pick them up. But this year it's a little different. Like, I was expecting a lot more starters to play, like especially some of the younger guys like Joe Chiron Sharinka. He didn't play at all. I thought they might play Devin White. I thought, some of our DBs they were going to play. And Rashad White, I thought he'd play too, but they didn't. So it's going to be interesting to see the roster and the lineup they have for this week. 7:30 Friday night, the Bucs play the New York Jets. That'll be on here locally. I want to believe it's Channel 8, right?
Sounds right.
Channel 8. Think that's right. Or if you have NFL,
it's Saturday.
Saturday, 7:30, New York Jets on locally, not nationally. So check your dials.
Do you think Rodgers is going to play?
No, he won't.
I want to see Rodgers.
I don't think he'll
play.
play.
Series.
I'm looking forward to liking Rodgers now.
Yeah, fair enough. The Jets aren't that much of a better team, though.
I kind of like them.
I can't hate
They're
on the
little
Jets.
brother in New York.
The Jets have never been good in my life, so I can't hate
I like little
on them.
brothers. Like, they're always going to be the Giants' little brother. So
Yeah, well, everybody wants them. The reason I don't really care for them is everybody wants them to be like the Bucs of 2020, where it's like they were one quarterback away from being so good. And I don't want them to see them do that. I don't want to see them win. And, I don't think they really have the team to do it.
Is Dalvin Cook really moving the needle?
No, he's not. But that's what I'm saying. They're building a storyline to make, like, Rodgers is a missing piece.
They have a good
this was
team,
a Super Bowl team. They have a decent.
You know what?
team.
No, they have a pretty good team. You know what I was noticing today? We have AL East, AFC East are both probably the best divisions in their collective sports. Both A Easts are killing it because the AFC East has Dolphins, Bills, Patriots, Jets, and then AFC East AL East we all know about that. Speaking of the AL East, I think it's time to get into some Rays baseball here, gentlemen.
All right. Rays versus Cardinals. Game 1, Tuesday night. Zach Eflin is going for his 13th win of the season, which would be the lead for the AL. The scoring started out in the second inning when Nolan Arenado hit a home run to left field. Background story, we are in the party deck for this, so we can't really see it. We're like, did that home run go? And we're like, yeah, it went. So they go up 1-0. It would remain 1-0 until the seventh inning when I called it. Let me just say that. I said, somebody's going to hit a random home run. Nobody's going to be on base. It's going to be the first hit in a while. And we're going to tie it. So that's what Isaac Paredes does in the seventh inning. He gets his 22nd home run of the year to tie the game up at 1. The Rays go on into the eighth to hit 4 straight singles, and they make the game 4-1. In the ninth, Pete Fairbanks gave up a home run to my man Wilson Contreras, but after that he closed out the game. In all of this, Eflin pitched well, but he did not get the win, so he's still at 12 wins for the season. On Tuesday night, we're doing a bullpen day. Jalen Beeks starts us out, and he gives up a run. So in the second inning, we're down 1-0, and Jose Siri hits a 2-run home run to give us a 2-1 lead. The Rays drop the lead, and they do not get it for the rest of the night because Kevin Kelly had a pretty tough night. He gave up 3 runs with 5 hits over 2 innings, so we lost that game 6-4. But there were some offensive standouts in that game. Jose Siri hit 2 home runs, and Wander Franco went 3 for 3 with a home run and a walk. The rubber match of this series, Game 3 on Thursday night. I don't even really want to talk about this one. This
It was rough.
This game is one of those ones that I luckily didn't even watch any of it. I'm just gonna be honest. It ended so fast that I looked at my phone assuming I was getting something about the score, like, oh, they scored, and it was like, no, it's over. So, short game. Here we go. It's a storybook game though, not for us though. Former Rays prospect Matthew Liberatore pitched 8 scoreless innings, giving up only 2 hits. Crazy. Zach Littell, he did his job. He only gave up 3 runs over 6 innings, 7 hits given up. So this is a revenge game for Liberatore. Like, he's a former Rays prospect. He was in the deal for us to get Randy Arozarena, so you can imagine what he wants to do in this game. But Arozarena would not go unnoticed in this game. His impact was felt. He had an RBI walk.
Nice. Let's go. All right. So after a disappointing series against the Cardinals, the Rays turned to welcome in the Cleveland Guardians for a 3-game set at Tropicana Field. In the Friday game, we have Aaron Savali starting against his former team. And it was another decent but not great Aaron Savali start, as he went 5 innings, gave up 7 hits, and only 2 earned runs. So decent, we'll take it. Cleveland started the scoring in the top of the third with a Ramon Laureano single. The Rays answered back at the bottom of the third with a Yandy Diaz double and then a Wander Franco 2 RBI single to continue his hot week. In the top of the fourth, the Cleveland got their second run off Savali with a Stephen Kwan triple. He seems to kill us all the time. And then top of the sixth, Jake Diekman comes in and has one of his worst games in a while, unfortunately. He gave up 2 earned runs, and it could have been a lot more, but he got out of it with a double play. But these earned runs were a Miles Straw RBI single and a Andres Jimenez RBI single. And then in the bottom of the sixth, to answer right back again, Isaac Paredes hit a 2-run home run into left field, where he always hits his home runs, in the Randy land. I think it might be should be called Isaac land. And then the Rays in the top of the seventh were actually able to start pulling away as Randy Arozarena hit a sharp ground ball to the second baseman, and it got past him to end up scoring 2 runs with the bases loaded. And then after that, Manuel Margot grounded into a fielder's choice, beating out a double play ball, and that made the score 8-4 Rays. In the top of the eighth, off pitcher Jason Adam Mousestraw hit his first home run of the season on a high fastball. I don't really know how he did it, but it was a great piece of hitting, and I can't really be mad at Jason Adam for that. However, speaking of being mad at pitchers, Pete Fairbanks walks 3 pitchers in the 9th inning, and 2 runs are able to score off wild pitches. Not a single ball is put in play. Robert Stevenson comes in to hopefully get the final out and not have this nightmare game continue. On his first pitch, Robert Stevenson throws a wild pitch.
That was like a real hold my beer moment.
Yeah, it was horrible. And then 8-8, bottom 9, Robert Stevenson strikes out the last batter to cement the inning of 3 runs for Cleveland without a single ball put in play. So, it's looking bad. Me and Joel are at our Raymond James seats with our Rays game on our phone, looking really angry, and then Wander Franco hits a walk-off home run.
To retell that story, we're sitting at our Raymond James seats, and I'm intently watching the Bucks game, and then Colby holds up 2 on his hands for whatever reason, and then I look down and he hits a home run, and I got it spoiled.
It was like an emphasis, like you really should look down at the phone right now. That's why I held up 2. So,
spoiled it for me.
All right, so next day, a 4:10 start. The TB3 boys are all in attendance at Tropicana Field. It's Faith Day, boys. Let's go. The Rays kind of came out uninspired. We had a bullpen day today. Sean Armstrong was the opener. He went 2 really solid innings, gave up only 2 hits and no runs. And then we had an Erasmo Ramirez as the bulk guy. And he wasn't great. He wasn't horrible, but he also wasn't great. He went 3.1 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 earned runs. These runs came off a Ryan Rocchio sacrifice fly, an Oscar Gonzalez sacrifice fly, and a Mousestraw fielder's choice. They seemed to keep getting these first and third nobody out situations, and it was quite annoying. As for the Rays scoring side, Luke Raley tied the game up 1-1 in the bottom of the 4th inning with a solo home run. It was good to see him. Yeah, Joel called that, and it was good to see Luke Raley get
before it happened.
Yep, an extra base hit.
I forgot about that.
Yep, and then in the bottom of the 7th, the Rays were able to cut into the 3-1 deficit to make it 3-2 with a Harold Ramirez single. You're feeling good about it, but then right back at us, top of the 8th, Cole Calhoun hits a single. This was off Josh Fleming. Josh Fleming finished this game with 3 innings, 2 earned runs. But Cole Calhoun hit a single to right. Ramon Laureano scored, and then 2 out. Brendan Gallagher on the Guardians hit a 2-out single to make it 5-2 to kind of, at the time, make it feel like the game was out of reach. However, Luke Raley came back bottom of the 8th with a double to drive in Randy Arozarena, cut the lead to 5-3, and then a fabled top of the 9th came in. Yandy Diaz, the night starts off with a leadoff single on the first pitch. Josh Lowe, who struggles with velocity, and Emmanuel Clase's in with a bunch of velocity, but Josh Lowe hung in there and got a single up the middle. And then, after a Christian Bethel ground out, Yandy Diaz hits a sharp double off the wall that we all kind of thought was gone, but it only went off the top of the wall, but that did score Josh Lowe. And then, with 2 outs, and Brandon Lau up to the plate, Brandon Lau was able to put the ball in play, get it to the opposite field, beat it out, tie the ball game at 5-5. After a Brandon Lau stolen base, Randy Arozarena is up with 2 strikes, 102-mile-per-hour cutter off the plate. He flicks his hands out, line drive into the gap, Rays win. What a sequence of event for the Tampa Bay Rays. I mean, they were 2 awesome games. The second one was more awesome than the first one, but they were both awesome. Can the Rays finish this off with a sweep with Zach Eflin looking for his 13th win? No. Zach Eflin really struggled in this one. He went 3 innings, gave up 6 earned runs, a bunch of stuff. A Jimenez home run, a Gabriel Arias home run, which is crazy. Stephen Kwan killing us again. Oscar Gonzalez killing us again after that heartbreaking walk-off home run in the playoffs last year. Will Brennan, Yandy Diaz was able to get an RBI for newly Ray. I'm going to try to get his name right. Alcivis Basabi, who was newly called up on that day. He got his first hit, which was a double, and Yandy Diaz drove him in. More add-on runs for the Guardians as Jimenez drove someone in. Gonzalez again, Jimenez again to make it 9-1. Harold Ramirez had a sacrifice fly to make it 9-2. Chris Paul hits a huge three, take the lead down to 45. But yeah, all in all, the Rays win a series but miss an opportunity to sweep, and that is your week in Rays baseball. 3-3 on this homestand.
Allergic to the sweep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just hot and cold, it seemed like, throughout this week. Seemed like they had more trouble than not.
This was one of the most up and down Rays weeks we've had in a while,
yeah,
honestly.
it really was. Yeah, like even with players too, like I think Zach Eflin, it's a tale of two Eflins, which one you're going to get. On Tuesday, he pitches really well, and then on Sunday, it was just abysmal. So
yeah,
that's a little concerning to me.
We've had that with them for the last couple months.
Yeah, I actually have
I
got the stats. I looked into this. So Zach Eflin this year has 3 games of 5 earned runs or more. All 3 of those games have happened in his last 6 starts. So it's been pretty much back and forth. It's been like 5. I think he gave up 5 in Kansas City, then came back with a 0 in New York. Then he gave up 5.
It was the Marlins.
Marlins. And then he came back with a good start against the Cardinals. And then there was one other good start in there that Tigers? No.
Well, he pitched against the Cardinals on Tuesday.
Yeah, no. It wasn't Tigers. It was, I don't know. But he's his last 6 starts have either been amazing or bad. It's been like alternating. So that's a little bit concerning. His FIP is actually lower than his ERA, so he's kind of getting dinked and dunked and seeing eye ground balled a lot. So I guess it's not. Are you guys concerned about him? I'm
not concerned, but from a Rays standpoint, this feels like one of those situations where there's going to be like, he's fatigued, so we're going to put him on the IL.
We can't do that again. We already went.
My concern would only be from that standpoint.
We already went on our
the Rays mindset in this would be an IL trips coming up.
Yeah, I'm not super concerned because I still think he's been really the unsung hero of this team all year, but we are seeing a trend where it's one good start and one bad, and especially when now we're in a big battle for the division, it's kind of like, well, I don't want to have every other start to be like, well, this could be a really shutdown day, or he's going to give up 6 runs and it's going to be over before the 3rd inning. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, no,
that's my concern. I'm not concerned, but I'm seeing a trend and I don't like it.
Yeah, I think the most concerning thing, kind of to piggy off what you said, is the inability after kind of getting hit around a little bit early to settle the game back in. And I know that's something like it's hard for all pitchers to do. When you don't got your stuff, it's hard. But when you are Eflin and you don't have elite stuff, it's just hard for him when he doesn't have his best movement to bring it back in. And that could end up biting us in the butt in the playoff, or maybe it just won't happen and he'll just have a great month. Only time will tell. But yes, that is concerning. I think the most concerning part. But overall, I would say not concerned.
Yeah, not concerned. But let's tighten up.
Tighten up. Let's all tighten up. If we real quick, I think we can go into who had good and bad weeks. Starting off with good, Wander Franco. This is the only reason he's been in the news, guys, for his hot week where he posted a 1350 OPS. Which is amazing. 9 for 20, 2 home runs, 500 on base percentage. I mean, just killing it. Also, to follow suit with that, Yandy Diaz was 11 for 25 with 3 doubles and a 1 OPS, 1.41 to be exact. Me and Joel went to 2 Rays games this week, and Yandy Diaz was 7 for 8 combined. So I really appreciate him for that. Another good thing to see, I'd say, is Josh Lowe had a really good week. He had a 333 on base this week with a triple and a double. and an 833 OPS, which, I love to see. And then Randy also went 7 for 23. It seems like he's kind of turning a corner. He had an awesome walk-off that we talked about. So, yeah, those are your 4 good hitters. You guys got anything to say about those 4?
Yeah, especially with Randy, man. Just to see him hit that walk-off is just awesome. Especially a long at-bat, too. It was, 6 pitches?
Yeah. And the pitch he hit was something only Randy can do, man.
I know.
It was crazy.
And especially, I hate when he swings and throws his bat. I feel like that's just an automatic strikeout for him.
But that helped.
But it helped.
It helped.
He fouled off the pitch before.
Yes,
right?
yeah,
he
when
locked back
throwing his
in,
bat.
Yeah.
Locked back in and took that to right center, man.
We were all mad at him. We're like, don't do that. And
I
the
know.
next pitch, like,
I told Joel at the game, I was like, that's it. Like, I hate when he does that, dude. Like,
I hate it
done.
too. I hate it too, but they always say you got to throw your bat at the ball, man.
That's right. And then we ate our words on a golden spoon.
Yep.
One thing I'll add to Randy, this week felt quiet in a lot of ways. Like all of his games were pretty much one hit, like 1 for 4, 1 for 4, 1 for 4, 1 for 4. But with that 7 for 23, he also has a 7-game hitting streak going on right now.
Yeah. Hey, we'll take a little consistent Randy, man.
Yeah. So this feels like the breakout from the
Consistent
from the home run,
Randy turned
the home run
into
derby.
hot Randy. So
Yeah.
that's good. As far as who is cold right now, Brandon Lau had a rough week. We'll give him a pass because he's had a good last couple weeks. But he was 3 for 19, 9 strikeouts, 396 OPS. When he's striking out, that's when he's at his worst. Manuel Margot was 0 for 6.
He hasn't even really been playing lately. I was looking at it. He's pretty much been regulated to like every 4th day.
That's fine with me.
Yeah.
Curtis Mead got a hit on his first day, and he has been pretty lousy since, unfortunately. I know he's a rookie, so we're not going to give him a hard time. But he was 1 for 8 last week. With the hit was his only time he got on a base. He's not walking either. Christian Bethancourt was also 2 for 12, and he had a 4.53, a 0.453 OPS. So,
One more guy.
yes.
Isak Paredes went 2 for 16. But fun fact, both of his hits were homers.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, he's slowed down a little bit, but with him, man, even his slow weeks are productive.
I'll take
so,
2 for 16 if those two are homers.
Yeah, that's why I can't be mad. Jose Siri also didn't have a good week, but he had an amazing game against the Cardinals, so it kind of made up for it. But like if he only had 1 home run that day or something like that, his numbers would look a lot worse. But he had a really great game. So, yeah. I think unless you guys have anything else about this week, I think we're gonna maybe transition into. We got the confirmation this week that Shane McClanahan is 99% not going to pitch again in the 2023 season, which we're all bummed about, but life moves on. So there's a couple different ways for the Rays to kind of go about how they want to have their every 5th day that Shane was pitching. And I was just going to prop it up, like, what plan do you guys think the Rays should take with that Shane McClanahan day from now on?
I think especially as far as regular season, man, I'm not sure. I know for postseason, I think you just stick with 4. You stick with Savale, Glasnow, Eflin, and Littell as long as he's still performing. And I think that's just what you roll with. I think you just need to give the bullpen a break. And I really wouldn't like to see a bullpen day in the postseason, especially if we go far. That's my take on it.
I think even right now you have to find a way to get it back up to 5 starters. Like to do bullpen days is just it's destroying your guys' arms, and they're gonna be wiped out by October. So I don't know how like the Durham rotation works, but if there is somebody down there, like I know Bradley's down there, but there's got to be like I don't know how they do it. Like is everything down there bullpen days? Like
yeah,
it's just weird.
I don't know, right, man. So what I mapped out in my head as of right now is Josh Fleming just came back from the IL. He pitched 3 innings on Saturday, 2 earned runs, not terrible, decent, for Josh Fleming. So what I kind of worked out in my head is I think we should have a Josh Fleming bulk day for the rest of August. Have Armstrong or Erasmo or someone like that be the opener for Fleming and have him go 4 to 5 innings, which I think we know he can do at a pretty solid roll. And then I think once the rosters expand and we get to 28 from 26, I think we're going to have to bring up Taj Bradley, who, fun fact, in his last AAA start, which was last week, I think it was August 9th or 10th, he went 5.2 innings, 3 hits, 0 runs, 8 strikeouts. So I think a couple more Durham starts, get him a little more comfortable. I think Taj Bradley, we could bring him up, early September to start working him up to at least give us 4 to 5 innings in major league games, which would be huge for us, especially when we have these bulk guys that can kind of go after him too if we need.
Yeah, as of right now, they did send down Fleming on Sunday to
you're
bring
right.
up Oslevis Pasabe, but I assume he'll be back. News too, the Rays, as of today, August 14th, the Rays called up Jacob Lopez to the Major League roster, left-handed reliever.
Fun fact about him, he got traded from the Giants, and now he is going to be making his debut with the Rays against the Giants.
Yes.
Storybook.
So they're definitely trying to see what they got as far as arms. It's going to be really important. Again, we're still waiting for Kittredge to come back here. He looks like he's doing his rehab stint still with Durham. So, yeah, it'll get interesting to see kind of what they do. But it looks like they're just testing some stuff out, seeing what they got.
With the Shane news, my hope is that they make this decision quick and they stop dancing around the bushes, however you say, beat around the bushes. They if it's Tommy John, you just got to do it. I was looking at it today. I was trying to remember how long Tyler Glasnow waited to get his Tommy John. He waited almost 2 months to get the Tommy John from the day that he was injured. And I don't want to see the same from Shane. It's probably Tommy John. How much more do we need to look into this?
I think the other option is a different surgery. I think there's a loose bodies surgery on the table that's not Tommy John. I don't know if this is the same type of Tyler Glasnow situation because I don't think they're trying to save Shane for the season. I don't think it's
the same for the season. I think they're probably just trying to get a little bit out of him next year. But if you keep doing that, you might even be pushing some of his 2025.
Yeah, and I said it last week, whenever you look for second opinions, it's concerning. And I assume that why it's taken so long is probably because Tommy Johns has been up there as far as options, and I don't think really anybody wants that. I don't think Shane wants it. So, yeah, I agree with you, Joel. I think
if he was to do it in the next month, he probably would be ready to go for 2025. I'm saying let's just do it. If that's what's on the table, you got to make that call. What's a couple months of 2024 going to do if it's not your best and you're going to get hurt again?
Yeah, I agree. That's saying that out loud. So it sucks. We're definitely going to be getting pitchers back. I was looking into Shane Baz as an option to replace him at the end of the year, but he's already been ruled out for 2020 until 2024, so that's not an option. I was kind of maybe seeing if they had a random, he's coming back for the last game of the season, like Glasnow did, but that's just not an option. So, yeah, I think while we're talking injuries, I kind of think we have a little bit of an IL update, maybe a little bit, and where this where the roster. Well, I can say it, where the roster might be looking in a couple weeks. So there's 3 big players right now on the IL that we should be getting back. Great news right here. Francisco Mejia on Sunday began a rehab assignment, so hopefully he should be coming back maybe next homestand.
And we're going to send down Betancourt.
We might have to keep Renee Pinto instead of Betancourt. No, they won't do that. But then also Taylor Walls. I don't know if you guys remember him.
Who?
Yeah. Kevin Cash said last week that he's still a ways away. So, yeah, I think Basabe will probably be up for a while. So hopefully he's good, And then also Andrew Kittredge has been on his rehab assignments, which will be a great bolster to the bullpen coming soon. And he's targeting a mid to late August return. So we are pretty much in mid-August. So I'm thinking probably next homestand we'll be getting a lot of these players back, hopefully.
That sounds really good for Kittredge because I want to uncover the blanket of Pete Fairbanks right now for you guys. Are you ready for this? In his last 9 appearances, Pete Fairbanks has given up 5 runs, wild pitches, and 6 walks.
Yeah, don't like that.
Do you want that as your closer in October?
I wouldn't necessarily say closer, but I'm not gonna scrap him off for the rest of the year.
That's concerning in your high leverage moments.
It's concerning, but Pete, he's just been off. Like I think just as easily he could have one bomb appearance and get back to being like scoreless streak.
He's kind of having like a Vazzy season. Like it's like, oh, this game wasn't it. That game was great.
Yeah, I can see that comparison. I think that's a good comparison. But yeah, we just expect so highly of him and such consistency because I think earlier this season he was on like a 30-inning scoreless streak or something like that, like something crazy like that, and we just expect that as fans. And obviously as relievers, you go through ups and downs.
The scary thing with all of our pitchers is like the Rays could realistically, the second pitcher just comes up and be like, "Hey Pete, go to that IL. You got to rest up a little bit."
Pete's already had a couple, I think.
They might give him another
maybe
one.
Like a Kevin Kelly. He's been pitching a lot.
This has been a rough 10 days for him.
Yeah,
it's not the worst thing. Like the odds are is we're probably not going to catch Baltimore, so we're getting ready for that wild card spot. So you want to go and not sprinting or overworking. So if you got to rest up the guys, kind of secede to a wild card spot. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it is sad considering how the season started to just kind of say, all right, we're playing for second.
That was a great segue to this week's edition of Schedule Watching, where we watch the Orioles' schedule and compare it to the Rays. Last week,
we need a song.
Last week, the Rays and Orioles both went 3-3. It was Rays were able to cut it down to 2 games twice last week, but that fumbling of an opportunity against St. Louis and the fumbling of the opportunity to get the sweep made it so that we didn't gain up any ground. And the Orioles nutted up and got 2 huge wins in Seattle. You got to give them credit. I don't know if any of you guys were watching the game on Sunday against Seattle, but it was one of the craziest baseball games I've ever watched. Baltimore goes up 3-2, top of the 9th. 1 out with the 9th. Ty France hits a ball dead center. Cedric Mullins robs a home run. It would undoubtedly be a home run over the wall.
That would have been a walk-off, right?
That would have been a game-tying home run. Okay. And then the second pitch after, Canzone from the Mariners hits a bomb, ties the game. So that would have been a walk-off if Mullins hadn't robbed it. 3-3, top 10, Baltimore. Cedric Mullins comes back after robbing a home run and hits a bomb. And then Baltimore keeps Mariners off the scoreboard without even using Bautista. So that was that was a huge win for them, man. So, I mean, props to them. But, yeah, we're going to look at this week.
They're destined.
Yeah, this week for a 3-game series, they're at the San Diego Padres, the very confusing Padres. And then,
dude, we're in San Francisco. We should meet up for coffee.
Yeah, we're both on West Coast trips. I looked into this earlier. Padres have Darvish, Waka, Snell. So please take 2 out of 3, Padres. Just come on, do that for us. Come on.
Yeah,
come on, Snell, do it for your old friend.
In the weekend series, the Orioles have the AAA team, Oakland Athletics, for 3. So best we can hope for is there's some Oakland magic.
Yeah,
some
can they do a reverse boycott for them
remember
too?
Remember when they beat the Braves up really bad? Just do that again.
Yeah, so as comparatively, the Rays are also on a West Coast trip, and they will be playing 3 in San Francisco. We have Glasnow today, Littell tomorrow, and Savali Wednesday. And the Giants don't have either of their 2 big pitchers. No Cobb, no Webb. So
didn't Cobb get hurt?
Maybe.
I think he's hurt.
Okay, so he's hurt. So we're gonna get a bunch of bullpen bulk days from the Giants, which is how they run things. If you think the bullpen day for the Rays is bad, watch the Giants for a week because it's crazy what they do. And then the Rays head to Anaheim for 3 games against the Angels, where they have a bullpen day against Reed Detmers.
Please no show.
Eflin versus Tyler Anderson. And Glasnow versus Chase Silseth. So no Shohei. Silseth had a really good start a couple weeks ago. So, yeah, no Shohei. He'll still be in the lineup.
Shohei is skipping his next start due to arm fatigue.
Yeah, well, he's just Dude, that man cramps every time he plays baseball. He is carrying that team so hard. But yeah, the Angels, they're playing all right baseball, but they haven't been great since the break. So these are definitely two winnable series with the pitching matchup and the teams. We know how the Rays have struggled with the West Coast trips this year. It was kind of the thing that, in my opinion, kind of derailed us for the month of July, was having 2 West Coast trips in June. But I think the Rays have a good shot at winning some series here. Hopefully.
Yeah, you brought up, I forgot we were going to talk about the Orioles because I'm just trying to block it out in my mind. But yeah, that was a really frustrating week last week. Now that we've mentioned it, Orioles start off losing 2 versus the Astros, and I think, man, the Rays really had an opportunity last week to get close, and now we're no better off than we were when we started the week. So that's really frustrating. Yeah, it is like watching the games. I watched the Mariners Saturday night. It goes into extras, and
they wasted a George Kirby masterclass.
Yeah,
man. He went a complete game, but it wasn't a complete game because they didn't score.
So yeah, I think we look ahead to this week. Rays are playing a Giants team. They're decent, but they're very beatable. And then the Angels, they're battling for a wild card spot. So those are going to be tough games. But I think at the end of the day, the Rays are the better team in both of these series. And if they want to catch up, looking ahead, they really have to, because after this West Coast trip for the Orioles, they get the Blue Jays at home, then the Rockies at home, and then the White Sox at home. So that's going to be, unless something drastic happens, it's going to be a lot of wins for the Orioles coming up. So the Rays need to do whatever they can now to catch up with them.
Yeah. I think there's an elephant in the room. It's the person who won't be on this West Coast trip for the Rays. It's Wander Franco. We don't have a good idea of the full story right now. There's a bunch of rumors, but there's no official reports. So as of right now, obviously, we're hoping for the best. For the most important thing, that the crime didn't happen, that an act of evil didn't happen from one of the people we like watching play baseball. That's the first thing. But obviously, for the second thing, if it is untrue, we want Wander Franco back with the Rays as fast as possible. But obviously, if it's true, we don't condone it, we don't support it, and we vehemently reject him from our fandom.
Yeah, I'll say my piece real quick with that. Again, we all hope it's not true. We're not going to make any speculations or anything like that. Selfishly, as a Rays fan, it's frustrating because Wander Franco has been tearing it up these past couple weeks.
Probably the best 2 weeks of his career,
been tearing
honestly.
it up. So to be without him for, again, every game at this point is pretty crucial. But 2 tough road opponents, to not have them, that really stinks. And then on just lifestyle aspect of it, if this isn't true, this will still haunt him for, could be like his whole career. You hate to see that. And even if it's proven to be false, it's still going to carry with him. And we've seen it happen to a lot of other athletes. So we're praying for him, man. But we really hope this isn't true and that it gets sorted out and the MLB does their due diligence.
We love him as a guy. We love him as a player. He's a young guy. He's had a rough season as far as some of these things have come out, like some of the stuff going on within the clubhouse, some of his issues with hustling, and now this. So this definitely is a season where we are hoping to see some maturity in him, and this might be one of those chapters where he finally begins to realize, okay, this is what it's like to be a young man. This is what it's like to be somebody who has a lot of money but needs to live in a way that is right between all that he's around. So we're hoping for the best for him. Right now there's not enough news out for us to do any speculating. We don't want to do speculating. This is sports. We love him as a guy. We hope for the best. And the goal is just that all things come around and we can look back at this and see that everything's okay.
Yeah, because contrary to popular belief, Twitter is not an official news source that is completely true all the time, guys. So, you get some good information from Twitter or X or whatever the heck it's called now, but just let the official stuff come out before you
let the authorities handle it.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny though, because
there's a couple funny ones.
Yeah, like watching the game, and they're just getting destroyed on Sunday. And I keep seeing all these, like, one of the funniest accounts I follow on Twitter is baseball images that precede unfortunate events. And they're showing Wander Franco's hat giveaway that happened to be on Sunday that was 14 and under. And I'm like, why do they post this? Like, okay, so what? They're losing a game. Like, no big deal. And then I just keep scrolling, and there's just more stuff. I'm like, what is going on? So, yeah, let's hope it gets sorted out. But it was kind of interesting to see it blow up on Twitter so fast.
Yeah, I think we should just move on to some predictions we got football and baseball this week. So that'll be fun. We're excited as sports fans. So, like we just mentioned, the Rays have a West Coast trip, 3 at the Giants, 3 at the Angels. So, Joel, I'll start with you.
Before that, let me
standings.
So, to catch up on the standings, I am in the lead with 3 points. Colby is second with 2, Joel with 1, but he's going to catch up this week, we hope. Last week, Joel predicted that the Rays would go 4-2, and Luke Raley would get a home run. Colby predicted
that was me being conservative.
Colby predicted that the Rays would go 5-1, and that Harold Ramirez would barrel Ramirez one out of there.
2, man.
I predicted the Rays would go 4-2, and I was really trying to boost Randy, and I said he would hit a home run. So. How did that go, guys?
We got 1 point on the board.
Let's go, Luke.
Yeah, we got 1. Hey, dude, in weeks of not many points, you got out with 1. So that's good for you, man. So, yeah, we're doing.
And when Renee Pinto gets a home run this week, I'm going to have another point on the board.
Ooh, all right. All right, so, Joel, let's start with you.
All right.
6-game road trip. What you got?
6-game road trip. Since I'm always wrong, I'm going to be wrong for the right reason. All right. Rays have really been struggling on these West Coast trips. They're demoralized with all this Franco news, so we're going to go 1-5. We are going to win. Let's just pick one out of a hat. We're going to win the whatever game Glasnow's doing.
Who's hitting the home run?
It's 2 games.
Okay, well he'll have one good game.
Okay.
One game the offense will show up for him. That's all I'll say. All right, who's hitting the home run? You heard me, man. Renee Pinto.
You're gonna go with Pinto.
Yeah,
I just had to make sure.
He's gonna hit the home run that wins us the Glasnow game.
That's interesting.
That would be. I'd like to see. I'm gonna go with just recent memory. They've been struggling on the road or on West Coast road trips, so I'm gonna say they're gonna go 3-3. I think they go 1-2 versus the Giants. But they've been up and down, so I think they're going to give me some hope, and they're going to go 2-1 against the Angels. So I'm saying 3-3. Oh, man. Give me a Josh Lowe homer. I want to see Josh Lowe get a home run.
I like that pick.
To McCovey Cove. I want to see it there.
Oh, nice. That would be
Splash
awesome.
down.
He could do that, too. I am the Jolly Roger. So I'm going to say we're going to go 4-2 on this road trip. I think... Even if we lose the series with the Giants, I think we can sweep the Angels, man. I don't know. I feel good about it. And for home runs, give me Osaivis Basabe to hit a home run in his first week of Major League Baseball action, his first road games.
Him and Pinto are getting home runs this week. You heard it here.
Dude, go big or go home is what I like to say and what we like to say on the TB3 podcast.
I can't wait to go 0-2 because the Rays are going to go 4-2 this week.
I like it, and then I'll have 1. All right.
Yeah, do we want to do predictions with the Bucks? I mean, it's a preseason game.
I mean, we're here.
Might not matter. I mean, I'll just say the Bucks are going to win.
Of course.
I don't really want to put money down on it because it's preseason, but I'd love to see a Bucks win just for the fun of it,
24-21, Bucks win, hot rod game-winning field goal at the end, and it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be like why are the Bucks trying so hard? It's the fourth quarter and it's all the third stringers, but we are gonna have like a massive like comeback that like no one really cares about, but it's like kind of awesome. So that's what I'm thinking.
All right, we are gonna see another amazing game from this kicking team. We're getting 3 field goals and a safety.
We love kicking here at TB3.
We are going to lose
You said safety?
Yeah, we're gonna lose 24-11.
That's interesting.
24-11.
If Joel, if the score is 24-11, you can have 5 points on the thing.
Go big or go home.
11's crazy. All right, watch your Tampa Bay teams in action this week, gentlemen. Watch the Rays. Watch the Bucks. They're all on the road, so you guys can save your money this week and save it for the home games coming up soon.
Yeah, winnable series against the Rockies coming up. That should be fun.
And the Yankees are coming to town.
And the Yankees. We need the Rays fans there. I hate when it's packed with Yankees fans.
Please, Rays.
And they open up the upper deck just to put more of them in there.
Honestly,
and I'm sick of it.
Honestly, the last Yankees series at Rays was pretty good showing by the Rays fans, I would say. But maybe I'm biased because I was screaming so loud that I tilt the balances.
Rays fans, go to the team store and buy cowbells. It's like kryptonite for the Yankees fans.
Yeah, they don't like
hate it.
It's kryptonite for the Rays fans, too. They just get them.
All right.
But yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure to follow us on YouTube and Spotify. Give us a subscription. Give us a like. Give us 5 stars on Spotify. Follow us on X. Follow us on Insta. We're posting all the time. And I know you're not listening live, but today's creamsicle day for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I'm going to go out with a throwback. Hey, hey, Tampa Bay, fire the cannons!
Buccaneers.